going to open public comment at 6:01. Anybody have anything for public comment? Okay. Now we will move on to the minutes of November 13th, 2024.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
I will second that.
All in favor?
Hang on just a moment. And if you weren't here, you abstained, and I don't have that list in front of me, so.
I think it's right here. Is this, Alex had, yeah, he had to.
He's,
Becky?
me, Becky?
Yeah. Desiree?
Yes.
Gisella? Lacey?
Yes.
Laura? Lauren?
Yes.
Michael? You were absent too. Michelle was abstained. Renee? Tamara?
Yes.
Tricia?
Yes.
And Wendy? Thank you. I apologize for that. It's just a little easier.
Ready to move on?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We will move on to the Operations Committee meeting. Oh, so, yeah, right here. October, oh, sorry, yeah, sorry. The minutes for the Operations Committee for October 9th.
And we didn't have a quorum at the Operations Committee meeting this time, so only the people at that October 9th meeting are eligible to vote on this, so we're hoping that they're here tonight.
Mm-hmm.
It's Becky, Nicole, and Renee.
Yes.
Yes, I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
A second?
All in favor?
Becky, Nicole, okay, perfect. All right, thank you.
So now we will move on to the working draft proposed calendar for 2025-2026.
You want to pass that and come back to it when Meredith is here?
Okay.
Yeah, that might make sense.
All right, we'll move on. And we'll move on to superintendent goals. Should we move
Yeah.
on suicide prevention plan? I think we should just wait.
No, Mary's here. Mary, can you-
Oh, okay, perfect.
Great. That's the suicide prevention plan.
Microphone review, is that what they want? So I'm gonna start with an apology. We updated the suicide prevention plan. You approved it 2 years ago, and it has to, by policy, be updated every 2 years. And the changes in
Excuse
the
me.
plan have to do with making sure that all of the links in there are current and all of the resources are current, as well as the liaisons and the school principals were changed. And then I neglected to change the letterhead on the cover. So that's my apology. So we are asking you to approve the updated suicide prevention plan for all of our districts for the SAU-wide. And when I update the date on the cover, with your approval, I will update the cover page, the letterhead, so that we have the right names on that. No substantive changes to the plan from the last time I brought it to you in 21, 22. Sorry.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the updated SAU21 suicide prevention plan as presented.
I'll second.
That was,
All in favor?
okay.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry for my error.
Do we have to have anything in there, with like the change of the cover?
I made a note in here that she was gonna
Okay.
change the cover whenever she.
Okay, and we just vote on that as well, that,
I think that's what you just did.
okay.
Yeah.
I think we have to come back, right? Or do we do the portrait of a learner?
Yeah. Let's go to that.
name is Shay Casley, the curriculum director here, new to the SAU. I think I've met most of you by now, but for those of you I haven't, nice to see you this evening. So I was asked to just give a brief overview of Portrait of a Learner. So I reached out to building principals, and they gave me the information. I compiled it into this presentation. This is simply a snapshot. We try to address each of the pillars. All of the schools are making strides in all of the different areas, but each school just reported out on one area, just to give you an overview of where we're headed and what we've been doing. So the first area is mindsets. And Barnard School is reporting out on this. Barnard School students regularly reflect on their habits of learning. They routinely set goals and track their individual progress. This year, the goals are shared with families to encourage support at home, highlighting how positive learning habits benefit all areas of life. They are also participating in a weekly Habits of Learning class, where they explore the importance of these habits, set and monitor personal goals, and engage in meaningful self-reflection. And we can see some of them at work here. And their habits of learning are tied to CARES, as you can see. The next area is academics. In Seabrook Elementary, this is a mid-year snapshot. They've been piloting Wit and Wisdom. They've been doing training. They started in August. They have a literacy coach that comes to them bi-weekly, Sarah Sharilla, and she pushes into their classrooms and offers individual coaching sessions and helping them pilot this program. They've gone off-site to visit another elementary school to see it in progress, and they came back incredibly enthusiastic and really looking forward to continuing with their work with this. They have been doing a lot of professional development on research-based literacy practices tied to the science of reading. They've had some training. There is a vertical literacy team that reaches all the way through the middle school, and they're doing some Heggerty training for the early phonemic awareness skills. Seabrook Middle School, they had 2 academic goals that they really focused in on this year. Every student achieving at least 1 year's growth in each core academic area, and successfully participating in competency-based learning opportunities where they have voice and choice in their learning. And they have been working really hard to unpack the NEWA data that students took the NEWA MAPS assessment in the fall and winter. They've seen an incredible amount of growth, both in English language arts and in math. They're in year 3 of Eureka Squared, a new math program, and they're piloting Wit and Wisdom. And we saw considerable gains across the grades from fall to winter on those scores. Again, they are also piloting Wit and Wisdom and working with the consultant who's pushing into their classrooms. And they've been working really hard at the middle school on MTSS with their bi-monthly meetings. They've made an updated referral form. They're communicating to staff and continuing to try to address the individual learning needs of their students. Community engagement, Northampton School decided to report out on this. They had a Nextrex plastic bag recycling contest where they collected 1,000 pounds of plastic and earned a new Trex bench for the school. The Maple Sugaring is taking on a new life with a brand new sugar shack that's been repurposed from, I believe it's the Lister campus over in Portsmouth. They've also implemented a family book club. They have 18 families and 5 titles going. They set up a new nature trail on school grounds with plans to create a story walk on the campus. They have a newly refurbished disc golf course that is on site, and they've held their first disc golf tournament. This disc golf course is published across the state and open to the public when school's not in session. They have some ELO projects that are ongoing, such as a local government and election project. And I believe they actually are planning their issue that they're going to explore, and they're going to come up with a proposal and a solution to it, working with a community outreach organization around government and elections. They have a social media upgrade with the NHS brand and the Garden Club to Farm to School grant. They're working with Greenhouse Stewards, a community organization around growing food in their greenhouse and finding ways to cook it and distribute it within the school. And here we see some of that plastic that they've collected, and that's pre-Sugar Shack in the upper right-hand corner. The maple sugaring going on, and the community partnership down on the bottom. Lincoln Ackerman also is reporting out on community. They have implemented citizen science. There is a schoolyard sites feeder watch birding program where students are learning to track the different kinds of birds, feed them, and really get to know them in their natural habitat. The New Hampshire Astronomical Society came to the school, and in grades 7 and 8, there was an astronomy night where they were able to see Saturn, not up close and personal, but they could see it. Haven has reached out to them, and Mission Impact Outreach, their students are going to visit Seacoast nursing homes. They've done Cocoa for Coats in order to collect coats for people who need them. There's a partnership with the Seacoast Science Center. Through the CARES program, there are many community guest speakers that are coming in and speaking to the students. There is a wonderful partnership with the Hampton Falls Historical Society where the students partnered up with them and created an actual exhibit that is there in the Historical Society about life during the COVID pandemic that they really put together a lot of resources for. The Hampton Falls Rec Department, the Department of Energy, the PD, Fire Department, and of course the PTO have all been wonderful partnerships with the school as well. And the PTO has done an incredible job providing the students with enrichment opportunities. And there are some of those events. In the lower left-hand corner, in the center is a Holocaust survivor. She comes in and meets with the students and talks about her experiences as a child during the Holocaust. She has written a book. And then you see some of the other activities. Essential life skills. Winnicunnet's reporting out on this. Digital literacy has been a focus at Winnicunnet. Through freshman seminar, all freshmen receive lessons in digital literacy during Tri-1. It includes AI, academic integrity, digital tools to support executive functioning, and presentation tools. The Lookup campaign involves both staff and students and focuses on the distraction element of cell phone use. And they've implemented things like Phone-Free Fridays, Talking Tuesdays, and school-wide unplugged challenges. Virtual and artificial reality, they have a new set of 6 Meta Quest 3 VR headsets that will soon be available. Julie Hall is offering coaching for staff to explore ideas to deepen learning with VR and AR. Financial literacy, personal finance is offered through the business department as an early college option, and lifetime wellness, a senior graduation requirement with lessons in personal finance. Bridge to career, there are a lot of career-connected learning opportunities. Freshman seminar added new activities this year with a focus on post-secondary planning, career research, and informational interviewing. They also continue to offer extended learning opportunities for all students. The Gallup poll is being implemented for the 3rd time this year. Not the entire poll, but the pieces that relate to career in the future, planning for the future. and they're hoping to get a sense of students' experience with career-connected learning, entrepreneurship, and career and financial literacy. Food nutrition, the family and consumer sciences wellness electives, they offer a number of courses to support students in these areas. And one of the things they're looking forward to is doing a unified version of this where disabled students and regular ed students will be paired as partners through these courses, much like unified sports. Physical and mental wellness, Barnard School, they hosted Screen Sanity Night, as did Winnicott for the entire SAU. And monthly all-school meetings at Barnard School this year have been dedicated to themes of physical and mental wellness, and students are actively participating in activities like yoga, mindfulness practices, lessons on gratitude and giving, and fostering a holistic approach to well-being. And there's Screen Sanity Night pictures. Any questions? One of our future directions is we're really starting conversations with the curriculum, the curriculum committee group that we meet monthly and sometimes bi-monthly about how to measure this. How do we report this out in a systematic way? So that's where we are right now in thinking about taking next steps.
Everyone. I'm Donna Couture, and I'm from Winnicott High School. I'm the Director of Teaching and Learning. I was asked to present tonight specifically on some of the work that Winnicott is doing moving forward with our Portrait of a Learner. So I was really pleased, and thank you for the opportunity. Shay did a great job of showing you some of the things that we do currently have in place. I again, want the opportunity to share some of the things that we know we need to put in place, and that really ties into our school growth plan. So let me first explain. I think we've presented this in the past, but as a quick refresher, through the NEASC process, we did most of the work to put together our school growth plan, and we continue to develop that plan in conjunction with goals we already had in place prior to that accreditation process. But primarily we're looking for feedback from our staff and our students through department meetings and professional development work. And it's a document that is living and breathing and constantly editing and working on it. So at this stage in time, we thought we would present what we are currently doing in carrying out our school growth plan and how that connects to Portrait of a Learner. So we did identify 3 key themes that outlines our school growth plan. Within those themes, we have a number of goals for each theme, and what I'll tell you tonight is just some of the examples of the strategies we put in place to carry out those goals. So let me first share the first theme, which is around shared leadership and collaboration. So these 3 goals are focused on how do we engage staff at all levels of decision making and sharing that idea of leadership in our school, and how are we also doing that for our students. The other piece of this is how are we empowering our staff through professional development. So not only how are we engaging all of these stakeholders in the decision-making process at Winnicott, but how are we training them to do so and be self-reflective in that process. So some of the things we have put in place so far, these are items that we are currently working on and have articulated as priorities. We are, again, looking at that model of shared leadership. So at every stage, at every role that a person has, a staff member has at Winnicott, they have a responsibility to share feedback and insight into what happens at Winnicott. So part of that is putting together what that looks like, and that could be a visual, that could be documentation of, as a teacher, as my role, if I'm a case manager or a school counselor, what have you, what is my responsibility to share in the decision-making process? And then what responsibility do I have if I'm on leadership as well? So defining those and that system for feedback is really important. It is also really important for us to engage all students, a diverse body of students, to make sure that we are hearing everybody's concerns and wanting their input at all stages of the development of our school growth plan. So those are just some of the things that we're doing in an effort to carry out our school growth plan. I put the icons next to them so you can see just how we are connecting each of those strategies to our Portrait of a Learner. So the icons on the side, I think you'll find as we talk through this that they apply to a lot of different elements of our Portrait of a Learner, but we chose one primary theme in our Portrait of a Learner for every strategy that hopefully gives you an idea of how we're spreading that work out. Our second theme is really focused on competency-based learning and curriculum development. So this is really focused on our curriculum, our school-wide curriculum, how are we supporting our staff in creating that curriculum, and also focused on our multi-tiered systems of support. So what structures are we putting in place to support our students both academically and behaviorally so that they can be successful? Some of the strategies that we have in place, you can see this is really heavy in the academic component. That is certainly makes sense for the theme. We are focusing right now, we're really excited about the work around trying to assess the Portrait of a Learner. So we have a variety of staff members right now who are looking at the indicators of each of the themes in our Portrait of a Learner and developing ways to assess them at every single level, at every single grade, and during every class that a student attends. So these are enduring competencies, these are enduring themes that we want to make sure students have ample opportunity to practice and develop those skills throughout their entire 4 years at Winnacunnet. So we are working on that right now and excited to hopefully roll that out in the fall. We are also, as I said, looking at our multi-tier systems of support. What are those resources that we have available? Are we updating those? Are we communicating those effectively so that our students can advocate for themselves, our staff can advocate for our students, and our community will also be aware and can advocate for the needs of our students. We are also looking specifically at our formative and summative assessments in our curriculum, making sure that our staff have ample opportunities to collaborate together to make sure that teachers who teach the same classes can work together and make sure that they're providing the same curriculum for our students and then examining how well our students are doing so they can make informed decisions about any changes they want to make. Our final theme is climate and culture. Through all of the work that we've done over the last year, this is a theme that is very heavy in our goals because it is a priority area for everybody across the board. Our students had indicated that we have a lot of work to do in climate and culture, and so have our staff. And so you'll see here that we have a variety of goals. A lot of them have to do with strengthening the relationships within the building, making sure that we are celebrating each other, making sure that we're celebrating students and the work that they're doing, celebrating the work that staff are doing, communicating that in our larger community. There's also some real interest in sustainability and making sure that we have a focus on sustainability in our school and that we are doing the work at all levels. And then, of course, still maintaining SEL as a priority, both in and out of the classroom. So some of the strategies that we're putting in place, we're developing a process to recognize students on a regular basis and a process to recognize staff on a regular basis. So that is something internally that we really feel is a priority, and we have staff currently working on ways to do that. And we would like to push that out into our community, utilizing our social media, utilizing our local media sources to do that so that we can spread the word about some of the amazing things that both our students and staff are doing. We also think it's really important to just explore all of the ways that we can talk about the events that are happening. So how are we communicating the things that are happening for the public within our building and encourage more connections to the community? So how are we building those connections? How are we inviting the community into our building? And so not only to celebrate, but to be involved as well in how we're making decisions here at Winnacunnet. Some additional, as I mentioned, some additional work in this area has to do with sustainability, has to do with our connections to the Indigenous people. And as you know, Winnacunnet, its name itself has Native American origins, and we feel it's really important that we stay connected to that culture. And we found a variety of ways to do that. Certainly carrying out some practices in sustainability is definitely something that ties into that, but also creating a land acknowledgement is something that we're working on, and hopefully we'll roll that out to all of you before the end of the year in ways that we are going to create a call to action to make sure that we're continually keeping that first and foremost in all things that we do here at Winnicott. So moving forward, again, that was just a snapshot. Those are just some of the things that we're doing, but we are going to continue to work on this as a leadership team. We continue to have staff involved in carrying this out. One of the things I'm really proud of is the work that our staff are doing for professional development directly ties to our school growth plan. So that tells me that they've bought into the goals that and the priorities that we've identified, and they want to help us in implementing it. Our students as well, in particular, there's a group of students who are on Dr. Netto's leadership team that have worked with our leadership team to examine ways to reduce student stress. And so they've presented to us this week, as a matter of fact. They did an incredible job, and it was just one more example of how we're trying to bring students into the decision-making process and be creative in ways to respond to those needs. So we will continue to do that. We also have our first report out of our NEASC accreditation process. After they've approved us and we're granted accreditation, we have our first report out May 1st. Believe it or not, time flies very quickly. So we will be doing that and can provide you with an update. And we'll continue as time moves on to give you updates as we progress through our school growth plan. Thank you very much. I also just want to take an opportunity publicly to say how much we appreciate everything you're doing, especially for January being School Board Appreciation Month. I hope you all knew that that was January. So thank you very much, and thank you for the opportunity to present. Any questions? Okay. Thank you.
So I think we should jump back up to the proposed calendar.
Sure. So included in your packet is a proposed calendar for 25-26. As you will recall, those of you who were here last year, we are required by law to align our calendar with all of the sending schools to the Seco School of Technology. That's our regional career and technical education center. And so we did that. That calendar was finalized in January, just a couple of weeks ago. And so we are bringing this to you as a draft. You will note that due to the timing of the Christmas and New Year's holidays that we are proposing coming to school on the 22nd, having an early release on the 23rd, and then students would not return to school until January 5th after the weekend. Beyond that, we're proposing start date of August 26th for students in grades 1 through 9 and at SST. And the rest of the high school students would start the following day on the 27th. And that is consistent otherwise with the current year calendar. So yes, and then so we approve it at SAU level, and then individual boards also have to adopt their district calendars, but we would have it aligned with this common calendar.
I'll make a motion to approve the SAU21 calendar for the 2025-2026 school year.
Second. Did somebody make a second?
Yes,
I
Nicole.
did. Okay. All in favor? Next is the superintendent goals.
So we talked about the broad goal areas at the November meeting, and so I fleshed these out to give some deliverables and objectives for the next 2 years. I've reviewed those with the operations committee at their last meeting, made a couple of changes based on their feedback, and they're here for your discussion as a draft and hopefully adoption.
Does anybody have any questions? I'll make a
motion to approve the updated superintendent's 3-year goals.
Is there a second? All in favor? Thank you.
So now we are down to policies? Oh, no, superintendent evaluation process. Sorry.
Wow. So again, this was discussed at the Operations Committee meeting, and following the format that's been in place for the last few years, with some updated dates to reflect the current calendar. The proposal is attached, which is that I would submit a self-evaluation by February 14th. By February 17th, Rhonda will open up the evaluation instrument to all eligible board members. And again, for those of you who may not remember or weren't part of this last year, an eligible member is one who has served the prior 12 months. And then that closes on February 28th. So you have that 2-week period to complete the evaluation. And then at the March 31st joint board meeting, the joint board has the opportunity to review that document and offer any feedback in a non-public session. And prior to that, the joint board chair meets with me to review the final evaluation document. Happy to answer any questions about that, or Becky could too.
Yes. Any questions or? Okay. Do we have to make a motion for that? No. Right?
It's just discussion.
Just discussion. Okay. So now we will move down to the policies first read.
Yes, so the policy committee just met early this week. And thank you to Rhonda for turning these around so quickly, but these are all first reads of policies for the joint board only. The School Boards Association made recommendations in their fall update for policies that joint boards should have. Most of these were policies you did not have, though many of your boards have many of these policies. So these are first reads. You'll see, again, that most of them match your district policies, with the exception of some wording that, for example, instead of school board member authority, it's joint school board member authority. So your role in serving the SAU board as opposed to your individual districts. So those are the kinds of differences in that document. Those documents, excuse me.
Is there a motion to put them forward?
Don't need one
Don't
because
need
it's
one.
just a first read.
First read, okay. And then we'll move down to the finance report.
I was thinking the energy was a little low in this room, so luckily Matt is here to boost us up.
We like intro music.
Some walk-up
Song.
Yeah.
We'll slow clap it up.
Money, 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 money. You're welcome.
There it is.
I think I can just walk out now. Well, thank you. So I have included both the fiscal year-to-date expenditure and revenue report in board docs. So we are tracking to forecast overall. If you recall, back in November, I noted that we're just over $60,000 over budget in health insurance, which was due to personnel changes and subsequent health insurance elections from that personnel. That being said, we do have offsetting savings in our salaries and other benefits accounts that essentially mitigate those health insurance increases. So overall, we're currently in line. We're looking to finish the year with approximately $5,000 in available balance on the expenditure side, and approximately $10,000 in surplus revenue on the revenue side. Now remember that the SAU budget is a little different from the individual districts. We do have an unreserved balance that rolls over from year to year. So should that stand, we'd be rolling over $15,000 to the next fiscal year, and that's because we don't. The SAU doesn't have expendable trust, so that's a means to safeguard the SAU against any any big repairs or unanticipated expenditures. It also allows us to reduce the district assessment. As you recall, we reduced the operating budget for next year to utilize the unreserved fund balance, and it also is our mechanism to pay for capital projects. So you also know that we have a roof project that's coming up within probably the next 3 years. So I will note, however, we are anticipating to finish the year, approximately $15,000. That being said, we still have 5 months in the fiscal year, so I always want to make that caveat. We could potentially incur unanticipated costs or revenues that may change that number slightly. So I hope that was exciting enough for you all. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Matt?
Alrighty, thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, Matt. Okay, next we have to go over the deliberative session dates.
They are all next week. Monday is Seabrook's meeting at 7 at the school. Tuesday is Northampton's at 7 at the school. Also Tuesday at 7 is Southampton's at the school. On Wednesday is Hampton Falls meeting at 5:30 at the school. And on Thursday, Winnicott's meeting at 7 o'clock here at the school.
Okay, perfect. Should we close public comment? Or wait until, just close it now?
That's fine. I don't see anyone here. Is there anyone waiting to speak?
Okay. So, public comment is closed at 6:32. And now we're down to the NHSBA training dates.
So I would just note, Rhonda shared some dates of upcoming trainings, and you should be getting that newsletter from the School Board Association with a list of all the webinars that they conduct. Those are available to any of you. If you are choosing to participate in one, please let Rhonda know, just so we can make sure we pay the bill for you and we don't get charged for something you don't attend. And then the Operations Committee also discussed having the School Board Association do an abbreviated training at the March joint board meeting. So a little more
Quick.
a review version with some opportunity for questions.
Very much shortened version.
Streamlined.
Yes. And now we're at the future meeting dates. Next meeting, February 10th, is Communications Committee meeting and Operations Committee meeting on the 10th, and another joint board meeting on the 31st. And it looks like we're going into non-public.
Yes, and just before we do that, I just want to thank Shay, Dr. Castley, and Donna Couture for presenting the Portrait of a Learner. I know we're trying to give you updates on that, and we thought it might be useful for all of you to have a picture of the high school. You don't always get to hear all of those pieces, but it does play into the work that's happening in all of your districts, and we thought it would be nice for you to see those connections. So I appreciate them being here tonight to share.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Looked like we were crushing it. I'm glad you were. It's really impressive. All the schools doing some amazing work.
Motion for non-public.
Is there a motion to go into non-public?
I'll make a motion to enter non-public under RSA 91-A:3, Roman numeral 2A at 6:40 p.m.
Second.
All in favor?
Now we gotta do roll call.
Yeah,
Oh,
roll call.
right. Sorry.
All right, I have Barbara,
Yes.
Becky,
Yes.
Desiree,
Yes.
Gisella,
Yes.
Lacey,
Yes.
Lauren,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Michelle,
Yes.
Nicole,
Yes.
Renee,
Yes.
Tamara,
Yes.
Tricia,
Yes.
Wendy. Did I get everybody? Did I miss anybody from that?
Yeah, but that was very impressive that you did it alphabetically by